Hey everyone, my name is James and welcome back to ChippyGaming. So today, we're back for another round of spoilers for Terraria 1.4. And as usual, what we're talking about today all comes courtesy of the official Terraria Discord. I often get messages about where do I find these? Well, the official Terraria Discord is available for free and to everyone, and I'll leave a link to it down below. So what we're going to be focusing on today is mainly messages from Red himself, the lead developer of Terraria, as he tried to answer as many questions that were thrown his way about the 1.4 update. I'm so grateful that the response has been so positive to these Discord themed episodes, so if we keep getting spoilers this way and they're interesting enough to talk about, then I'll keep you in the loop in the build up for Terraria 1.4. Now make sure you're sticking around until the end because we're actually going to be talking about those two new bosses and whereabouts you'll find them when you're playing through Terraria 1.4. So with that out of the way, let's begin. So let's kickstart this video by talking about the throwing class. Now, we've spoken about this in previous videos, that instead of building up the class so that it can stand on its own, what they're planning to do is in 1.4 is to actually tear it down and turn it into something else. Now, this has nothing to do with the new crunch time that they've set themselves. This is something that they've been speaking about for a couple of years now. We actually got some information from Red that they're merging the throwing class into range. There was a lot of misinformation going around about this one. I'm fairly certain that we heard it was melee at some point, but we now know that it's going to be range. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the progression is going to change with fossil armor in the mix, but we'll have to see. So you may remember in the Journey's End trailer, there's one scene where the player actually fishes up the Blood Nautilus, and in my breakdown I said, well, it might not be a boss because as you can see in the video, there wasn't any kind of boss health bar, and that is being added in Terraria 1.4, but it was simply because, you know, we couldn't talk about the finer details. Well, Red actually confirmed today that the Blood Nautilus is a mini boss that you're encountering during the Blood Moon, so it doesn't count as one of those two new bosses. So somebody asked a question that I thought was really interesting and actually led to a small spoiler. They asked which music track will take priority if it's raining and the wind event happens at the same time. Are they separate events that can't happen at once? And so Red responded, there is another weather event that you don't know about yet, and that is what takes priority here. So this could mean that this new weather event that we don't know about actually has one of the new music tracks that we also don't know about. Someone asked if there'll be new buffs or debuffs in Terraria 1.4, and Red confirmed there will be a few. Now, we have seen some images of food popping up in Terraria 1.4 spoilers, so I imagine that certain foods might actually give certain buffs instead of just the generic well-fed one, but we'll have to see. Somebody asked if there's any kind of reward for checking out golf in Terraria 1.4, and Red responded, yes, there's an internal score for golf that will unlock rewards. If I had to imagine a reward for golfing and doing it with a great score, I would assume that it's probably something to do with golfing customization. I said yesterday that maybe 5 of the 1,000 items might have been different colored golf balls. This is totally what I could see. Like, if you got a hole-in-one, you get a shiny golden golf ball. That would make a lot of sense, but I genuinely have no clue. Red also said that they're considering a desert biome chest, and if you don't know what this is, because I don't know how many people actually get the biome chests anymore, they're a really big deal in Terraria 1.2. Essentially, you have a random chance to get a biome key, and then you find that one biome chest in a dungeon, and you unlock it. So we might be getting an item there, who knows? Red was asked whether we'll see anything new in the Ocean Biome, and Red responded that the ocean got a little bit of love in this update. That's great because I feel like the ocean is by far the most underused biome in Terraria. It really is just a big pool of water. I'd love to see a little bit more there, so this is something I'm actually quite excited about. So while we're on the topic of biomes, somebody did ask Red if we're getting any new biomes in Terraria 1.4, and Red responded, no new biomes, but a few new mini biomes. So we know that one of them is the Oasis biome that you find inside of the desert, and maybe those tree variants that we saw the other day are part of a new mini biome as well. So moving over to Senex was asked whether we'd see any more traditional spoilers for Terraria 1.4, you know, the ones that are actual screenshots, and Senex said, probably as we get closer. That's actually surprising to me. I thought they were going to pull back on that a little bit as we got closer, but you never know, they might get really excited about a new feature and decide to share it with the world. But I'm really happy with these Discord messages. I think these are a lot of fun. Senex was also asked whether we'd get another trailer for Terraria 1.4 Journey's End, and Senex responded, "We haven't decided." So maybe as they're doing their final playthrough of the game, you know, testing it all out, making sure there's no bugs before they ship it to people. Sometimes in the past, that's when they've recorded and then edited up a little trailer just to go along with the launch. We'll have to see. So let's round things off by talking about those 2 new bosses. Honestly, I'm grateful for any information about bosses. I love boss fights in Terraria. So Red actually said that you will find both bosses in hard mode. The first one will be early on, and the second will be post-Plantera. Both of them are optional, as we know. So what I'm really hoping here is that this one after Plantera can serve as a small gap between Plantera and Golem. I've always found Golem to be a bit too easy, like if you can defeat Plantera, you can snap Golem instantly. So this would be a really great time to add a little bit of spacing and then move Golem slightly further in the difficulty scale so that Golem feels like a real challenge again. We know that he's getting a slight buff in expert mode, but I would love to see that throughout the whole game, and then we have that little boss in the middle. As for the one at the beginning of hard mode, I'd really like to see something that you could do optionally if you were skilled enough before the mechanical bosses, and that would give you a better chance when you actually go up against the mechanical bosses. But this is where I'm going to hand things off to you guys. I really want to know where you would place these new bosses in Terraria's progression, so leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think about where these bosses should pop up. I really liked asking you guys about what the final sword should be called. I love the idea, even though it's so cliche, that it could be called Journey's End. What a beautiful item to get right at the very end of the final update of Terraria. You've now got a Journey's End. As grateful as I am for the Meow Meow, I'm really glad that we have something new to replace it. So as I was recording this, the website Sanchi launched 2 new pieces of Terraria merch. I'm going to leave it linked down below. It's not an affiliate link, I earn no profit from it, but if you want to go and check out what they've got to offer, you can find that in the description. Right, so that's going to round it up for today's video. Guys, thank you so much for watching. As I've spoken about before, now is a really great time to get subscribed to the channel. In the build up to the update, I'm going to make sure that you've got lots of Terraria content to keep you busy. And then once the update drops, I'll make sure that you have guides for all of the new optional content in Terraria 1.4 so that you can experience everything on your first playthrough. Guys, have a great one, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.